Hello, crypto dudes and dudettes. Joey here from TheChartGuys. I've been trading full time for 7 years, learning under Dan for 6 of them. I'm here to talk about some crypto coins. So to get right to the title of the stream and the thumbnail, is this pullback healthy? We'll cut to the chase. Yes, it is healthy. We know that if bulls are going to see follow through on the weekly bounce, they need a daily trend change. So that's an inevitable part of any healthy chart movement. And there was someone in the comments a couple videos ago saying, why isn't a V-shape to the highs the most likely scenario? Or why is it the less likely scenario is what they asked. And the reason is this is just how charts move. Like, you certainly can get V-shapes. Bitcoin is not unfamiliar to seeing them, but that's the less likely scenario. And if it is going to happen, you'll have increasing bull volume like we have here. And at this point, we didn't have increasing bull volume. We get some pullback. That is A-okay. And you just have to ensure that it stays okay and stays healthy. And that's why we use our retracement tools. So let's see here. We'll pull our fib. And currently, we are bouncing right from the 382. As long as the bulls hold the 0.5 retrace, then the pullback is still healthy. That's at 41,132. And that is that. So bulls have bounced a good bit more since I made the title and Toby from TheChartGuys made the thumbnail. So at this point, bulls have a lot of room for a 4-hour higher low. If we're going to get a daily higher low set, we're going to need to consolidate on the 4-hour and confirm a 4-hour uptrend. You could say that this is a little dinky 4-hour uptrend, but in my experience, there's not much of a benefit to designating like dinky pivots, meaning just like one candle up, one candle down, and then this one, the down candle and confirmation candle is all in one. It's just, it doesn't really behoove you to give that benefit of the doubt, because part of the psychology behind trend changes is letting the other team have a shot at it and then overpowering them back over. So you want to make sure that you see that clear passing of the torch back and forth to be able to determine the true shifting of momentum. So at this point, anything below 43,745 is going to be a 4-hour lower high. And next time we consolidate on the 4-hour, bulls are going to be looking for a higher low compared to 41,884. Now, you might be looking at this and saying like, okay, well, what the heck? That's a big enough 4-hour bounce to form a 4-hour higher low. What happened? You've got your increasing bear volume. If you're going to see the less likely scenario play out, it's likely to be accompanied by increasing volume. And that can be the clue to us that perhaps we need to be cautious if we're looking for this 4-hour higher low. Along with that, we had the FOMC yesterday, so that was a good bit of that downside there. So now we see how far can bulls take the bounce. Let's zoom in and see what we've got for a decent guide here. We've got an hourly uptrend. Anything over 42,364 going to be an hourly higher low. Hourly inside bars at this point, if those break bear, that would be that hourly consolidation. And if bulls want to keep the 4-hour bounce going, they're going to want to hold these hourly EMAs that are just crossing bullish here. You can see they tried to do the exact same thing back here yesterday and then ended up falling through on the FOMC. So let's zoom in once more, see what we got on the 15-minute. So yeah, I think I just like the hourly. I mean, we've got a kind of scraggly 15-minute uptrend, little lower low without follow through here. And this is just going to be the low of those hourly inside bars at 42,771. So we'll just stick with the hourly. We'll stay zoomed out with it. That'll be hourly consolidation. And if we were to see a 4-hour lower high shape up, we ultimately need to lose the low of the previous 4-hour candle. So at this point, that's pretty far away. If we're talking, we roll over to a new 4-hour candle in 39 minutes, we'd have to drop 1.17% from where we are now if that next candle was going to shape up that consolidation. So I would think that the more likely scenario is probably one more 4-hour candle and then do it like that. And that's probably what bulls would want to see, because if we were to lose this low on the next 4-hour candle, at that point, that would be quite a bit more retrace than bulls would want to see. So if bulls can see another leg up here, we'll be looking for an inverse head and shoulders. Left shoulder, head, and right shoulder to get that daily higher low set. So to zoom back out a little bit now, as been saying for quite some time, the weekly 12 EMA is the guide for bigger picture bull health. We're holding it, everything's fine, But due to the depth of this pullback, I would anticipate a weekly lower high compared to 48,969. So even if we get this daily uptrend, can't get too hog wild about it because, how much more room do you have to run? Well, we could certainly see another good move up 5%, something like that. But, you want to be entering on consolidation. So if you're looking for a daily higher low play, you're probably scouting this 4-hour higher low next consolidation so that you can have a reasonable risk to reward. If you pull out your position box tool, say you're doing something like that, maybe, and then you can get your 1-to-1, get risk-free, maybe take another one off, another chunk of your position off at resistance, and then you've got a nice comfy average below the low, and you can just walk up a stop on the daily uptrend to see if bulls do just V-shape it or go further than we anticipate. But again, you're going to need increasing bull volume if you're going to see that. Barring increasing bull volume, I would anticipate a weekly tightening range, something like that. So let's check our retracement on this bounce. Yeah, we are up and over the 0.5 retrace at this point. So bulls do want to see that daily uptrend confirm to get more follow through, just to make another hold of the weekly 12 EMA a bit comfier. And if we were to roll over and lose 38.55, we'd have to pump the brakes. We'd have to pump the brakes and see what's going on, because that would be monthly consolidation shaping up. We'd be looking for a monthly higher low, watching monthly 12 EMA, but as we'll talk about every stream, just so that nobody's bamboozled if it happens, a 6-month lower high compared to all-time highs, 69K, is the most likely scenario unless we see increasing bull volume. And, we've got a ton of time left on this candle, but we don't have increasing bull volume at this point. Let's check Coinbase, see what the volume's looking like there. Yeah, so still just decreasing 6-month volume. So everybody's got to have a plan, be prepared for the potential that 6-month lower highs shape up. No signs of them at the moment, but we can see the road map for that. If we were to do it from here, get a weekly lower high, perhaps tighten up, could be seen as some distribution, whatever you want to call it, and then lose that weekly 12 EMA, and that would just be step 1 towards that. So again, no sign of it, but make sure you got a plan. And if your plan is to hold, you're a long-term Bitcoin maxi and you're willing to ride it back down, then that's fine. That's a plan. You just have to have a plan so that if we pull down, you don't say, oh, I'm just going to hold a little bit more. I'm just going to hold a little bit more. And then once we hit daily oversold conditions and, Dan is buying the dip, you're panicking out and selling the low. You don't want to be in that position. And that's what happens when you don't have a plan. So make your plan, write it out, and stick to it. So that's what we're looking at here on Bitcoin. Another little note along with Bitcoin that bulls like to see is that our mining stock, our leading mining stock, Mara, is seeing this strength as well. So we know the crypto miners have been leading Bitcoin. They topped before Bitcoin, they bottomed before Bitcoin, and we've pretty much been in lockstep here the past few days. Let's see, Mara topped on Monday. We had, oh no, it was another Mara gave the clue. So it was one day before Mara gave that clue, and now we're trying to set the lows at the same time here. So as far as Mara, bulls want to get through 1973 to get that daily uptrend, see a little weekly bounce follow through, but we'll certainly be looking for a weekly lower high compared to 3130. And these volume profile ranges have been pretty solid. So if we do get that daily uptrend, got to be watching 2040. If we look at it on the daily, we can see a bit clearer how well these ranges have been working. And this one's from way back here. Many touches to the tick on the POC, value area high, value area low, and then we came down, bottomed right at the value area low of this little range, seeing some action at this little range. So, I just kind of pull the viable ranges and then look at them as support and resistance, and it's crazy how often you will see clean hits on that. So 2040 next key resistance there, but Bitcoin and crypto bulls like to see this strength here. So let's move on. ETH remains weaker. We'll just start with ETH BTC because that kind of tells the story a bit more. We know we had our 4-hour 12 EMA resistance for quite some time. Got a really nice move up on the break, but no higher low and higher high, and now we're nearing the lows. So the scenario that we were talking about up at these highs of, are we going to get a rejection from monthly 12 EMA? That's what we got here at this point. We're still looking for a weekly higher low, but that's not going to shape on up without a daily uptrend. So we can say that ETH will remain relatively weak as long as 54.90 is resistance. So just keep an eyes on that. So as far as ETH itself, another one where weekly 12 EMA is going to be the key guide. Another one where we won't be shocked if we see a 6-month lower high. And at this point, more pullback than bulls would like to see. They're trying to form a daily higher low, little double bottom at 22.33. Low of today is 22.39. But if we zoom into the 12-hour, this could be a 12-hour head and shoulders to essentially shape up maybe like a 3-day lower high, which could be a 3-day bear flag. If ETH BTC remains weak, that's what that will be shaping up to potentially be here. So just like Bitcoin, going to need a 4-hour uptrend, and we don't have quite as much room as Bitcoin for the higher low, but we're above the 0.5 retrace, just at the golden pocket at this point. Let's see, yeah, right at it. So bulls, if they want to get a daily higher low shaped down up on ETH, going to need a higher low and higher high on the 4-hour, and then we'll be looking up for a potential daily lower high compared to 23.91 as long as ETH BTC remains weak. And this same volume profile area that we've been watching, and it's like, if you look at the chart, it doesn't seem like that significant of a zone here. It's just a little dinky balance from here. But when you pull your volume profile ranges on an area of balance and you see a hit, you see battle around to it, you see it go up, see big time follow through. When you get above, you come back down, you battle through it, you reject, and you come back up, and here we are again rejecting from it. So that's going to continue to be a battle zone, and just a place where we won't be surprised to see price react. So as far as a smaller time frame guide here, we got an hourly uptrend, hourly bull flag confirming without follow through at this point. So that could be the first sign of the 4-hour lower high shaping on up. So LTC, daily consolidation underway. A little funky with these outside bars, but I'm just viewing it as one move up, one move down. Bulls trying to shape up a daily higher low. If they want to get a weekly higher low set, need to confirm a daily uptrend by getting back through 69.99, and just like Bitcoin, going to need a 4-hour uptrend from here. So we do have a little bit of relative strength here. Let's look at it on the 15-minute 12 EMA rider. That's going to be the short-term guide, and you compare that to Bitcoin, you can see that relative strength there. So what else we got? Link is got its monthly higher low set. So this one, if you want to see how you can just kind of, and this is exactly why you won't see Dan and I make predictions, because we get new information every day and then we just react to that new information. So if you go back through these crypto streams, everything that we talked about on Link played out to a T. That when we lost the weekly uptrend, we knew we were relatively weak in here after being one of the first alts to really pop off for us after basing out for ages. Let's see, yeah, a year and a half of basing, pop out, big time follow through. We lose the weekly uptrend, relatively weak, monthly consolidation underway. Well, as soon as you go into a weekly bounce from there, you say, okay, what's the loss of a weekly uptrend without follow through? That is a potential monthly bull flag. We got the bounce. We said a lower high compared to 1767, still the most likely scenario. Got the lower high. And then because of that bounce size, we know, okay, we've got room for a higher low. And if bulls are going to get the monthly higher low set, they need to regain the weekly uptrend. And it's played out to a T here. So now we've got that going. And Link bulls are looking just at that 1767 too. So a little devil's advocate here is this could be like a diamond. I'm not much of a diamond guy, but it's pretty objectively a potential diamond there. So that's what bears would want it to be, but you're not going to see that play out unless you start losing some trends. So as far as what we've got going on the daily, this is still one move straight off the low. So bulls are going to need to regain a daily uptrend, and you can kind of just see the opposite of this, where it's one move straight off the high. When you don't create support on the way down, or resistance on the way down, or support on the way up, it's easier to kind of just fall back through it. So link bulls want to see consolidation remain healthy. You want healthy daily consolidation, confirm a daily uptrend, and then go take a crack at that 1767. So link looking good, definitely a lead bull here today. Sold to check back in on this, and this is another one with volume profile range from back here, acting as support, being reactive, acting as resistance. So if you want to learn more about that, there's a webinar called Swing Trading with Volume Profile or something along those lines that Dan and Lamont did, and I highly recommend checking it out. Lamont's an absolute whiz with this stuff, and if you're a ChartGuys member, he's got multiple educational videos that were recently in the Full-Time Trader channel. They were posted in there yesterday in the Wednesday happy hour. So check that stuff out. It's easy to implement because it's straightforward. You're pulling fixed range volume profile on balance areas. And how I would define a balance area is any spot where you have candles going back and forth. You pull it on that, you mark your value area high and low and POC. You can use it as support and resistance. It's very straightforward to implement into your game. But anyways, Sol, we know weekly 12 EMA going to be the guide. Weekly higher low is now set off of that 12 EMA. But if bulls want to be confident and follow through, they're going to need a daily uptrend. So consolidation is underway here, and bulls trying to shape up the daily higher low. It is the hourly oversold back burner after that move up that has our low marked here at this point. So next step for bulls is going to be regaining a 4-hour uptrend. And if that happens from here, daily consolidation is perfectly healthy. If we fall back down through these lows, let's see, bulls would have a little more room to work with from a retracement standpoint, but would kind of be, or really not, actually, 91.72 is that 0.5. So it would have to be like a bear break without follow through, essentially. So yeah, we'll just look for a potential 4-hour uptrend from here. Going to be looking for a 4-hour lower high compared to this 102.73, and we'll see if bulls can do some of that to get a daily higher low set. And that is that. And everybody's favorite junker, Ape, kind of coming to life here today. And, you know, it's just a daily uptrend confirming, little daily tightening range. That's a weekly bounce getting underway within a weekly tightening range. So nothing's really going on yet. But if the crypto space is to remain strong and we continue to see rotation through everything, it would make sense that a junker like this that never really got its bounce, I mean, it moved 90% off the lows, but when we compare that to what many other coins are seeing, it's definitely the junker. So if we were to see rotation come into Ape and confirm the first monthly uptrend in the history of this stinker, there might be some good opportunity. So just keeping an eye on it. Nothing to, write home about now because we're ultimately still just in this choppy sideways range, but seeing some volume, and I guess we saw some volume here. This one was a little more impulsive though. Let's zoom in, see what that looked like. Yeah, so this was just like one 15-minute move up and then immediately gave it all back. And we'll see if this thing is any different. It's already holding on a little bit better than that, but still going to be looking for a weekly lower high, so not getting too jazzed on that. And anything below 169 would be a weekly lower high, but not going to sleep on Ape. Let's see, RNDR, another one where we got our weekly higher low off the 12 EMA, and we're coming up to this 535 all-time high. Or no, that's not all-time high. RNDR USDT has some more levels. So all-time high on that is 610, so still a good bit away. But in crypto land, if bulls stay around, 50% is not too far away. So let's see, we've got a potential 4-hour cup and handle here. So we had our daily consolidation, got underway, broke the daily stair step, and bulls just snapped it right back up. We're right back to resistance, and what bulls want to see here is healthy 4-hour consolidation and get a cup and handle. So you got your cup, you got your handle, and then you would break it like that. So if bulls can do that, next resistance would be 507.6, and then just these highs at 528. So at this point, though, the low of today is a pretty key level, because after the move here, if we were to roll over down through that low, then that'd be the first sign that maybe we got a weekly lower high shaping up for a weekly tightening range. So must hold level, and let's get the number on that. That is 425.5. So that's pretty much all I'm looking at right now. Let's see what y'all are looking at. Revy, what up? What up? Sean, hello. E.R. Berg, lots of chop. Yeah, things are kind of just slinking around, and that's why I said let's just rely on the hourly, because there's not a lot of clarity on the smaller time frame trends. So that's why we have all of these different time frames, is because we're looking for clarity. That's what our objective is with them. It's not like one's inherently better than the other. I mean, they offer different perspectives based on time, but the key thing that we want is clarity. So if we look at the 5-minute, that's not very clear. I guess it's not that unclear. 5-minute uptrend, you lose it. That's hourly consolidation. A little tough on the V-shape back up. Then you lose it again, no follow through. Yeah, just not that clear in the scheme of things. Not that clear in the scheme of things. Mr. Jonathan Down, pleasure to see you as always. Let's see. Considering the GBTC selling pressure and the sell the news event, Bitcoin and alts are holding up pretty nicely. Yeah, I would say so for sure. Bulls are pleased not to just see a full-blown, like to go look at some other sell the news events. Like if we look back to cannabis in 2018, we had the sell the news on legalization, and there was one nice bounce in there, but right off the top, we had 46% within 10 trading days. So very different than Bitcoin at this point. And then it was only a handful more days that we were back down to new lows. And then obviously bigger picture, it took some time to really come unwound. But yeah, Bitcoin bulls are pleased not to just, have a climax top on that. It was definitely sell the news. It was definitely a firm pullback, but not just bog it all the way down through weekly 12 EMA is a decent look. But that being said, just how I was saying, we will always just take things one day at a time, because we get new information every day. And if we set a weekly lower high and we start seeing some bear volume and we come back down towards 38,555, then we'll have to say, some monthly consolidation looking to shape up. And then even then, we're not going to totally fret. We know monthly consolidation is part of a healthy chart. Like if you want to go to new all-time highs and just V-shape it on the 6-month, you're likely going to need some monthly consolidation. So what would keep monthly consolidation healthy? A hold of the monthly 12 EMA. So I like to put a little line at the spot there. And then the other thing that bulls would want to see is daily oversold, marking that monthly high or low. So if you remember stream a couple weeks ago, I was saying ideally that's what bulls would want to see, is daily oversold into monthly 12 EMA. That's a high conviction buy. When you get your back burner into your larger time frame EMA, it's a high conviction buy. So now at this point, we do have that range. And this daily oversold level will continue to move around, because the projection is if we were to hit it on this candle. But before it was like, I think maybe it was around here, and monthly 12 EMA was down there. So it wasn't a tradable range, but something like this, you can know that if we get 36.2 to 35K, as things stand now, again, these levels will change as price continues to move, but you keep these on there, and then that that's your area of interest. And if daily oversold marks the monthly high or low off the 12 EMA, then bulls are chilling, bigger picture. We would need to lose the monthly 12 EMA to say, okay, at this point, odds have increased significantly that a 6-month lower high is coming. Let's see, Alan Stevens, need a daily pullback in order to have a daily trend change. Hopefully we can see bulls show up and break to a higher high in the next few days. Exactly, my friend. That's, the title kind of clickbaity. We got to do it. I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy any of the social media games, but it's just we've got to do it. So yeah, of course the pullback's healthy. It's every healthy chart has ebbs and flows and continues to move on up. Like, let's look at SPX. You know, the best performing chart in history. You know, you get pullbacks on this stuff. Like, let's just look at this. Obviously, this is very strong. No inkling of bears. This is a quarterly chart that we're looking at. This pullback here is 35%, very intense, but you're still holding your relevant EMAs, and then you just continue on up. So pullbacks are part of every healthy chart, and that just is what it is. You just got to ensure that the pullback stays healthy, and that's all that's about. Let's see, Carlos JF, what up, brother? SSVUSDT, would you consider this a cup and handle on the 3-day time frame or maybe weekly? Let's take a look. SSVUSDT. Is that right? SSVUSDT. Would you consider this a cup and handle on the 3-day time frame or maybe the weekly? I'm assuming you're probably looking at like this, like big cup, and that's a handle, perhaps. I wouldn't view it like that. A cup and handle is a continuation pattern, not a reversal pattern, and just in this context, I would not view it like that. And the big reason why it's a continuation pattern instead of a reversal pattern is because if you are like in a downtrend and then you're looking for like a cup and handle to shift it, I mean, ultimately this is an inverse head and shoulders at this point, but let me redraw these lines to make it a little clearer. If you're coming down and then you come up and then you do that for the handle, you know, you could pick any point along this way to be your cup, and it's kind of like fitting a pattern into a place where it's not really there. So this one's probably a 2-week or a weekly 12 EMA rider, just like everybody else. So we'll just keep things simple. Weekly 12 EMA, we've got a weekly higher low set here at 27.16, and bulls kind of struggling to see any follow through on it. So they would need a clear daily uptrend and need to show up now if that's going to be the case. We've already retraced over the 50% mark, so not a great look. It just decreases the odds that you can go do that, and increases the odds that bears are going to be able to do that and at least form an EQ, but we have to wait for the next bounce to see how big that is, because if that's a dinky bounce, then odds increase of that, getting the daily downtrend. So again, one step at a time. It just behooves us to not establish biases and stick to them when we have new information. Because there was a point not long ago that where we're like, you know, Link is a stinker. It's the only alt consolidating on the monthly. We didn't know that it was going to be a quick higher low, but as soon as we got that weekly bounce, and we said, okay, well, we do know this now. So just gotta take it one day at a time. One day at a time. Hello, Karan. E.R. Berg. Let's check out ADA. I haven't looked at ADA in a minute. Yeah, kind of weak, man. Is this in the lower high crew? It's not, but it should be. I'll drag that up there. Yeah, I mean, I would anticipate a weekly lower high compared to 68 cents on ADA. Still holding weekly 12 EMA, but just to get back up to resistance, 51%. I don't think that it's likely that we just go up through those highs. We have increasing bull volume, then perhaps. But I would think that bulls want to see a bit more bounce, certainly, to try to stay in a weekly tightening range. But if we were to top out here, that's the setup for bears to confirm a weekly downtrend and lose the weekly 12 EMA. So let's zoom into the daily and see what we've got going on. So it's not all over for bulls by any means. This was a V-shape off the low on the daily, and now they've got to try to confirm a daily uptrend. So their work's kind of cut out for them, and they're just at, or just below the 0.5 retrace. Yeah, just below the 0.5 retrace. So odds decreased marginally that bulls can go ahead and do that. But I wouldn't say it's all over for them yet. I tend to kind of prioritize the golden pocket above the 0.5 retrace. But to keep things simple, I just talk about the 0.5 because that is more so, like that is the true tipping point. Because how I view these fibs, you can just view them as like percentage odds that you see a lower high on the next bounce. So if you pull back only to the 236, you could say, all right, there's only 23% odds that we form a lower high compared to the high of the move. If you pull back to the 382, you can say like, all right, 38% odds. And again, these are not like the odds of them, but this is like the concept when we talk about retracement, because basically you just have more room to travel. If you have less room to travel, only pulling back to the 236, then your odds are greater that you can go to those higher highs. So I just view it as like percentage odds that you get a lower high on the next bounce. If you have a 382, only 38% odds that you get the lower high. So that makes the higher highs the most likely scenario. And then once you get over that 0.5 retrace, that is when the lower high does have greater probability than the higher high. So that's kind of how all of that works. So let's see, what do bulls need to do to get a daily bounce underway? We're weaker than peers here, only just now getting, I guess we got the 4-hour bounce underway overnight, but hardly convincing at this point. We're coming up to test these EMAs. If EMAs were to reject, that'd be a potential 4-hour bear flag. And if we were to see another round of 4-hour lower highs and lower lows, that would then pretty significantly decrease the odds of getting the daily trend change. But if bulls can see some 4-hour bounce over these EMAs, regain a 4-hour uptrend, then the daily higher low will be set, and it will be all about 53.67 as we look to see, can bulls see weekly bounce continuation. And while we're talking about the weekly lower high gang, let's check back in on them. Matic, weekly bounce underway, but going to be looking for a weekly lower high there. AXS continues to be weak at the lows. Not many names are just pushing right down to the lows of the consolidation post ETF announcement. Uni, still weekly inside bar. Theta, weekly bounce underway, immediately no follow through. ETC is pulling back from its weekly bounce here. So kind of looking like ETH with that dinky daily uptrend and potential 12-hour head and shoulders here at this point. So bears would need to defend 26.24 and then come back through 23.39 and 23.03. So yeah, these are all names that a weekly lower high. AAVE didn't even get the weekly bounce to new consolidation lows. So that is a weak coin and it's losing the 12 EMA. We know that's our guide for many, many names. So still going to be looking for a weekly lower high, and this thing is just weak. It is just weak. Atom remaining weak as well. And GMT remaining weak as well. So weekly head and shoulders here to potentially get some monthly consolidation underway off the 12 EMA. That's a high conviction setup, but I'd definitely be, I would only be comfortable after we get a weekly bounce. I'm not trying to short it down here. You can do stuff like that. If you've got like a downtrend and you're testing the 12 EMA, you can set up a short and just have a close stop, but can't be surprised if you get stopped out on something like that, because we are still looking for a weekly higher low compared to 22.91. All right, let's see what we got. What up, D-Lee Crypto? What up to here? What is up, John Zeeb? I'm doing great. How are you doing, sir? Glad to see you. New York fishing. That would be illegal, my friend, but perhaps someday something like that can happen. BT, the red weekly candle is a do not pass candle, as I call it. We will try, and if we go down above, it will be short-lived, if we do go above it, it will be short-lived. Talking about Bitcoin, I'm assuming? I don't know. Oh, you're probably talking about the ETF sell the news candle. Yeah, that is another scenario here. Like, I'm anticipating the lower high compared to the 48,969. But if we were to see a weekly bull flag confirmed without follow through, that could be the first sign of that 6-month lower high, because we know that flags confirming without follow through tell us to zoom out and look for a pivot on a larger time frame. So if that's the candle you're talking about, I feel you there. What bulls would like to see, ideally, to keep this show on the road, honestly, is probably monthly consolidation. As much as nobody wants to hear it. we have moved, come on now, almost 100% since our last monthly high or low. So if you want the chart to remain healthy and not get blow off top of you, probably want some monthly consolidation, have daily oversold, mark your monthly high or low. Hold on a second, I got a cat clawing at my windows. Come on in, baby. Yeah, come on, I'm streaming. Hello. Howdy. So I would say bulls would probably want monthly consolidation, probably have daily oversold, mark your monthly high or low, and that be that. So bulls that don't want to go that route, you probably want to tighten up here and then get another. Whoa, why did that continue? You'd want to tighten up on the weekly, cool things off, and then get the bull break from there. But as far as just V-shaping up, I think that would entice bears because we'd probably be pretty overbought if we were to just go up straight there from here. You never want to rush things. Nature never rushes and still gets everything done. So good things take time. Good things take some time. Sean with the call for likes. Thank you for reminding me. I stink at that. If y'all can hit the like button, we'd all appreciate it. Helps out with the algos, helps get the information out to more people. And on that note, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. Check out the channel. If you don't like it, then you can unsubscribe. Low commitment. All right, BT saying, keep in mind the monthly candle just formed. Yeah, I mean, we're just obviously one day into it, but I'm not putting too much weight about what we've got going on here. I mean, this is an indecision candle from the last month. So often when you see those indecision candles, that is kind of the tipping of the scales before supply outweighs demand in this context. But yeah, we'll have to see how the month goes on. I'm just going to keep it simple with the weekly stairs or weekly 12 EMA. If we're above weekly 12 EMA, bulls are chilling. And that's that. And if we lose it, then that's when we go to the monthly 12 EMA. And in terms of the 6-month context, if monthly 12 EMA is holding, bulls are chilling. Sean says, do you think I'm ridiculous for having a limit order at 35K BTC? Absolutely not, man. That's right in this little window that we drew up here. So that would be monthly consolidation. You'd be looking for a monthly high or low off 12 EMA. And there's nothing ridiculous about that. Nothing ridiculous about that. And, we can look at this. Like off of the COVID lows, we V-shaped 229% monthly consolidation. It stinks. But if you hold the 12 EMA, it's healthy. And then if you're going to see something like that, you're going to have increasing bull volume. That being said, we do have increasing bull volume here at this point. It's not as convincing as this increasing bull volume was, but it is indeed increasing. Let's see, Jay Hugs says the daily pullback's not healthy. Weekly chart is healthy. Monthly chart pullback hasn't even started yet. Daily pullback is healthy in my opinion. Weekly chart is healthy in my opinion, and monthly chart has not even started pulling back yet. I mean, you can just keep it simple. We talk about stair steps all the time. Get rid of these lines, and this is a stair step. You can't consolidate on the monthly without breaking the low of the previous monthly candle. So it's like you got that. You walk it up. That's your key level. That becomes your key level. That becomes your key level. And now in February, we're watching 38,555. That would need to break to get monthly consolidation underway. But this daily pullback is absolutely healthy. I mean, what's unhealthy about a 4.5% pullback after a nearly 14% bounce, holding the 382 retracement? That's the definition of healthy, my friend. Might be able to switch to ETFs, no transaction fees to suppress volume numbers on the exchanges going forward. Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, especially in the US with Coinbase having its freaking awful commissions, which, by the way, some news came out on that. I haven't actually looked at it yet. It just got posted before the stream, but Coinbase slashes trading fees for high volume traders. Okay, I don't know the details of it, but potentially Coinbase becoming a little more viable because, yeah, the fees suck. And anybody who's paying fees on Coinbase is definitely going to be enticed, at least for day trading, to use the ETFs. Obviously, they carry huge overnight risk because we know what crypto can do. And if your hands are tied from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m., who knows what happens overnight. So I don't know. I personally would only want to be using them for day trading, or if you like really wanted some in your like IRA or something like that. Let's see. Top of the morning to ya. Myth. Thanks, dude. I appreciate the kind words. Thanks for tuning in. Happy to have you. Glad you're enjoying it. Let's see, I lost my spot in chat here. What do we got here? That's Hall Wick with the top of the morning to you. Howdy, Hall. You want to see Bitcoin versus the NASDAQ? Yeah, I'm just going to go to my ratio watch list and do it through there instead of typing it in. So I haven't looked at this in a while. So we have got a scraggly monthly uptrend. Monthly consolidation is underway, but no follow through at this point. And if bears were going to see that follow through, we would need the weekly downtrend on this ratio. But Bitcoin outperforming the NASDAQ over the last week as Bitcoin bounces and the NASDAQ sees weekly consolidation. So we've got a daily stair step and bulls trying to go for a quick little daily bull flag. So that is that. Who cares for LTC? Yeah, as far as I know, nobody cares about LTC, but that's kind of why, you know, in the chart guys, the debate comes up about maybe twice a year of why don't we get rid of LTC? Because if you look at our channels over here, we've got a BTC, LTC, ETH channel, then we've got the alts channel where, you know, we're just talking about all the different alts, and then twice a year, people try to protest to get LTC out of there, and a couple things. One, it always marks a temporary bottom in LTC. But two, the reason we focus on LTC is to just give the like bearish perspective because it's so often bearish compared to everybody else. So you've got Bitcoin as your bellwether, then you've got ETH is kind of your like alt bellwether, and then you've got Litecoin as like the, you know, weakness bellwether. So you kind of just get that spectrum of strength. So that's why we watch LTC. That's why we watch LTC. Let's see, what is your usual exit plan for a trade fixed profit? I usually use EMAs as targets. Like if I'm buying a dip, you know, we can talk about an oil trade that I took here today, just to give a bit of an example. So some news about something, and what was it? I think a ceasefire, which is obviously good from a geopolitical standpoint, but I'm a dip buyer. So I bought this oil dip, and I ultimately ended up just taking my profit at 5-minute 12 EMA because I needed to prep for this stream. But if I wasn't doing that, I'd take some at 5-minute 12 EMA, I'd take some at 15-minute 12 EMA, and then I probably would have left a bit for hourly 12 EMA, which ended up hitting, but only because this pullback dragged it down into it. It was a bit higher. It was up at like 76.19. So I just scale out my positions into these EMAs. So that's one way that I'll take profits. Another way is I'll just like walk a stop on something. Like the best example recently, and this is not a trade I took, but just to kind of talk about how you can go about it. You know, if you've got a daily uptrend, this is TLT that we're looking at. And Dan has been an absolute beast in 2023 with walking up his stops. He'll say, okay, we've got a daily uptrend. He entered on the confirmation of the daily uptrend. And then I actually don't know what he's doing with the position now. I think he's scaled out enough and he's just leaving his stop at the low to see if this can be like a generational low. But you know, what you do is you mark your trends, you determine what trend is important to you, and you just keep dragging up your stop with each higher low. Each higher low that gets set, you drag up your stop, and then when that trend is broken, you're out. So someone could be doing that on Bitcoin. Let's go back to crypto watch list. Someone could be doing that on Bitcoin, saying, you know, I'm gonna walk up my stops on weekly higher lows. So at first it was here, and this is the nice thing about getting a proper higher low here, because we didn't really have any levels before that, but you just walk up your stop. And the thing with walking stops is that you commit that you're not going to nail the top. It will go higher than the level that you end up selling at, but you also commit to you're not going to get out like notably early, because someone could have seen this and been like, oh, we're weekly overbought. It's probably time to sell, and then you end up getting out very early or something like that. So walking stops is a great way to go about it. It takes some discipline to let things ride and sit through the pullbacks, but it helps ensure that you don't get out early. But you have to commit again to, you have to set your ego down to know that like you're not going to nail the top into strength or something like that. Let's see, Toshik K, can we look at Ondo and JUP? ONDO USDT. We'll do KuCoin. So we got a baby. We've got a baby. And what do we even have here? That's not very clear. It's like a daily tightening range, bull break of the first level, and then bear break of the next level. Let's keep popping around time frames. Yeah, I think I like the 2-day. But I guess that doesn't even really give us a ton. Give me a second here, mate. We'll figure out a good guide. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, we're just kind of balancing at the highs. I would view this as like, maybe we can actually pull, I'm going to pull some volume profile on this and see. Let's see, we'll do that. See if we got something to work on here, because there's not much structure on these new coins. You can lean on the shorter time frame trends when that's the case, but we might have a key spot here. We'll see how price is reacting to it. Yeah, not really. I mean, kind of, but I'm not going to put a lot of weight into that. What we can say is that if we lose 17,614, that would be a bit of a short-term red flag. Not much support below that. We're certainly looking for a weekly higher low. We're certainly looking for a 2-day higher low. And we've now just got a daily stair step. So I would probably just lean in the short term on this 4-hour downtrend. We can say bears are in intermediate control as long as the 4-hour downtrend is intact. If bulls want to get a daily bounce underway, they're going to need a 4-hour uptrend confirmed. And that would require holding 1968 from here and getting over these 4-hour EMAs. But if we get that bounce, we will be looking for a daily lower high compared to 29.38.6. So, you know, not a ton to say on this thing, because we're just kind of sideways at the highs here. You know, if we get rid of this, we can just kind of view it as like a balance, like bigger balance area, something like that, where it's just kind of like short off the highs, long off the lows, and it works until it doesn't. But not a ton to say on this little new coin. Daily stair step, 4-hour downtrend, support trying to be a double bottom here at 20 cents. Popped it by a skosh, no follow through. And after that, we're pretty much looking down at 1742 as our last little line in the sand. And JUP. Another baby. A fresh baby. Second day of life for this coin. Gonna have to zoom in. Scales all jacked on these things, so it's just a 4-hour stair step down. We probably got hourly downtrend. No. Yeah, dude, these new coins kind of funky. Let's go to the 2-hour. I think I like that. So we've got a 2-hour downtrend as our short-term guide. So if bulls want to get a higher low set, got to break 62.92, and only support here is 55. So definitely pretty volatile, 14%. And we got like a 15-minute tightening range in here. Low, high, higher, low. Maybe best on the 30-minute. High, low, lower, high, higher, low. And you can actually even just view it maybe in hourly. Let's find the clarity on this thing. Yeah, I'd probably just view it like that. something like that. And the direction that breaks bull, then we've got just continuation up. If it breaks bear, that's potentially some daily consolidation fixing to take place into tomorrow. But these coins, these brand new coins, you just want to focus on the one where you can find some clarity, which there's not a ton of clarity besides this just balance range at the lows here. But yeah, you want to focus on clarity and likely smaller time frames. Smaller time frames. You're testing me, Toshik. These new coins are tough. They're tough to really make any sense of. So I'm not gonna like try to act like, oh yeah, this is what's going on them. You know, a brand new listing, it could run up 200% without seeing daily consolidation, or it could just go, it could start its journey to zero on day 2. You know, there's not, without history, you can't really like work off of anything, and it's kind of just like a you know, you're rolling the dice at the crap table. All right. Karan watching Link BTC for that inverse head and shoulders. Yeah, let's check back in on that. The monthly inverse head and shoulders on Link BTC. If Link wants to really come to life, left shoulder, head, dinky little right shoulder, want to get through that. And if we were to confirm this, we'd be at highest relative strength since January 2022. So that's what Link bulls want to see. So this monthly higher low isn't quite set here. Got to get through 39.75, and we're at 39.70 at the moment. And just like Link itself, just V-shape off of the low. V-shape off the low. Speaking of that, we didn't really zoom in on Link, did we? Let's get a short-term guide. Let's get a short-term guide. It's not a 4-hour uptrend. We'll do 6-hour uptrend. Anything over 15.08 going to be a 6-hour higher low. So we are nearing that resistance. Nearing that resistance. And bulls want to hold this 6-hour 12 EMA. If you lose that, that's when daily consolidation's looking to shape on up. All right. ER Berg already did some ADA. Let's look at STX. Let's look at STX, and then I am going to have to get off here sooner than later. We've got a ChartGuys stream starting on up. Don't want to conflict with that. So we got our weekly higher low set. That's another coin. This is STX USDT. Another coin where weekly 12 EMA is going to be the guide, and just keeping it that simple. So that makes 124 our key support. Looking at the daily, we did get a little daily uptrend, but no follow through at this point. And this is another one where it's probably a 12-hour head and shoulders. Left shoulder, head, and potential for right shoulder if bears can defend this 162 and come back through this now multi-bottom here in like the 144 area. So if that were to confirm, that would increase the odds that this is a quick weekly lower high, and bears would be hopeful that they can confirm a weekly downtrend. But that's maybe getting a few too many steps ahead. We'll see how Bitcoin shakes on out, if it can confirm a daily uptrend. But you know, you can just see the relative weakness here. We're trying to turn the candle green, but when you look at Bitcoin, that's a much stronger candle there. So some relative weakness. And near kind of similar, man. I don't know if those are in the same ecosystem or something, but the weekly chart looks very similar. And it's not like there's not a ton of coins just trying to bounce from weekly 12 EMA, but just speaking to the strength or lack thereof of the bounce. You know, we got our higher low set, so that makes 245 the key support, and bulls struggling to get a daily uptrend. Looking a little bit better here, and let's see, we're a bit below the 0.5 retrace, or we're right at the golden, so a good little bit below. So I would anticipate a lower high compared to 323. And if bears confirm a daily downtrend from here, that's a quick weekly lower high shaping up, and we'd have to watch out for the potential that bears confirm a weekly downtrend and get some monthly consolidation underway, which again, wouldn't be shocking. 376% straight off the low, no trend change. You know, if you really want to see a momentum shift, you've got to get a monthly uptrend. So this thing has not had a monthly uptrend since the top back here at the end of 2021. And we're no longer in a monthly downtrend because we broke monthly lower high resistance. So we're in that tweener spot where you don't have a trend. But got to get a monthly uptrend. So monthly consolidation is not the worst. But it's just got to stay healthy. That's the whole thing. If you pull back to like 160 and you're looking at like a monthly EQ, you want to pull back, not see much follow through, and then get that uptrend. But you know, these things take time when you're talking about larger time frames. You know, that could be into summer that takes to play on out. All right. D-Lee Crypto, do you use any time frames besides the standard time frames? Yes, I do. You can see the ones that I use regularly up here. You know, 1, 2, 5, 10 is probably the one that I use the least. But sometimes, you know, the 15-minute doesn't have clarity, the 5-minute doesn't have clarity, the 10 might do it. 15, 30, 45 I don't use often. Main reason I have the 45-minute on there is because if I'm looking for an hourly 12 EMA test, I'll actually set my alerts on the 45-minute 12 EMA to kind of like let me know a little bit ahead of time. Then 1 hour, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 12, daily, 2-day, 3-day, weekly, 2-week, monthly, quarterly, and then, you know, 6-month or yearly. So I use a lot of different time frames, and it's just finding clarity. Most often, I'm on 1, 2, 5, 15, hourly, 4-hour, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly. Those are like my traditional core, but you'll find at times that it's a different time frame. Like ES, the 4-month higher low off of the 12 EMA. At the end of the 2022 bear market, it was a 2-week inverse head and shoulders that ultimately ended up marking that low. Took a little while to shake on out, but you know, this was one that we were all over in the chart, guys. You've got your task of the 4-month higher low, and you zoom in, you look for your tool, inverse head and shoulders, and then it plays on out from there. So I am open to look at whatever time frame as long as it offers some clarity. As long as it offers some clarity. All right. I'm going to have to wrap it up here, guys. We got a Chart Guys stream starting in 2 minutes. Thank y'all for tuning in. Oh, yeah, we got a complaint about the fibs. My guy, your trading view colors or something looks tacky. We barely seen the fib. Yeah, you know, the fib's there for me, not for you, my friend. I'm sorry. I'll convey the information across on the fib. But the reason I have it like that is because I don't want a fib like screaming at me. I just want to be able to pop it on, have it be a little understated in the background. So yeah, it's not there for you, it's there for me. Sorry for being tacky, dude. Zach Lopez, do I use leverage? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Always with a stop, though. You know, you got to trade a different style if you're doing leverage versus, you know, not common shares, but I guess just unleveraged. You know, if you're unleveraged, you are hard pressed to screw yourself up. But if you're leveraged, you can jack up your account on just like some mundane move. So I like to use small time frame stair steps with leverage. That's like my main shtick in futures. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. Hit the like button for me, please. Hit the subscribe button if you desire to. Thank you, soft shell spot is what we call it in crypto. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe if you're not subscribed and you like TA and want to learn about all sorts of stuff. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see what we get here through the weekend. We'll do some Twitter updates through the weekend for y'all as we continue to track this stuff, and we will see you next time.